Ever wonder what it takes to really, truly turn your life upside down?
Yeah.
I mean, really, like, risk it all.
Right.
Today, we're diving headfirst into a world of, well, double agents and Cold War tension with The Spy and the Traitor by Ben Macintyre.
Okay.
It's the true story of Oleg Gordievsky, a man who, well, he did risk it all
He really did.
to change the course of history.
In this book, it's not just another spy thriller.
Right.
Macintyre, he masterfully weaves a tale that's as gripping as it is real. We're talking, like, dead drops, double agents, and that constant fear of,
Oh, yeah.
exposure.
Yeah.
We're going to unpack Gordievsky's journey from, a disillusioned KGB officer to arguably MI6's most valuable asset.
And it all starts, with family, right? Imagine growing up with a father, Anton, who was not only a devout communist, but also, like, complicit in Stalin's purges. Talk about a heavy legacy.
Yeah.
What kind of impact do you think that had on young Oleg?
It's fascinating, isn't it? This wasn't just some,
Right.
low-level party member.
Yeah.
Anton Gordievsky was, deeply rooted in the system.
Yeah.
Rising through the ranks of the NKVD, the precursor to the KGB.
Right.
He saw firsthand the brutal realities of Stalin's regime. Like, during the forced Sovietization of Kazakhstan, imagine seeing the famine that resulted from, the expropriation of food from peasants.
Oh, wow.
An estimated 1.5 million people died.
Oh, my God.
This was Oleg's, inheritance.
It's almost unbelievable. This family utterly devoted to a system,
Right.
a system responsible for such suffering.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, how could he reconcile his upbringing with the reality that he saw around him?
And that's where the seeds of disillusionment
Oh,
begin to take root.
okay.
The Hungarian uprising in 1956, that was big for Gordievsky.
Oh, wow.
He saw the Soviet Union, the system his father upheld,
Right.
brutally crush this burgeoning, hopeful, popular uprising,
Right.
and then the Prague Spring in '68.
Right.
Just further solidifying
Yeah.
his growing unease.
Now, picture this. A young Gordievsky, fluent in German and Swedish, working as a translator for the KGB in East Berlin.
Wow.
Talk about being in the thick of it.
Right.
He's surrounded by forged documents, secret identities, the constant threat of exposure. Did the KGB, did they suspect anything, at this point?
It's likely. This was
Right.
the Cold War.
Yeah.
At its peak, suspicion was rampant. And the KGB, they were acutely aware of Western intelligence agencies trying to,
Yeah.
recruit their people. They were particularly vigilant about those stationed abroad, like Gordievsky.
Right.
Their own people were constantly
Right.
monitored for any hint of, dissent,
Wow.
potential betrayal.
So in a way, he was already living a double life.
Right.
Outwardly a loyal KGB officer, but internally
Yeah.
grappling with these doubts. It's like a powder keg
Yeah, it is.
waiting for a spark.
And that spark, or, well, maybe more accurately, a badminton racket,
What?
came in the form of British intelligence, MI6.
MI6 and their badminton player.
Yeah.
This is where I imagine things get interesting.
Yeah.
Fill me in.
So it's a bit of a wild story.
Uh,
MI6, they tasked this officer, Richard Bromhead, with, making contact
Okay.
with Gordievsky, who they had codenamed Sunbeam.
Okay.
Now, Bromhead, he was described by colleagues as a bit of a bull in a china shop,
Okay.
Not exactly.
Not exactly James Bond.
No, not your suave, sophisticated spy.
More like a clumsy footman in a drawing room comedy.
Right.
I bet he had some surprises up his sleeve. How did he make contact?
Well, surprisingly, or maybe not, Bromhead went with a rather conventional approach. A party. But, to add a little intrigue,
Okay.
they made sure a certain, attractive young badminton champion named Lane Cuppin was on the guest list.
The classic honey trap.
Right.
Did Gordievsky fall for it?
Not quite.
Okay.
While he found Cuppin charming,
Right.
he wasn't easily swayed by badminton
Okay.
or anything else, it seems. He was incredibly cautious.
Smart.
Suspicious even. He may have even been, slightly amused by the whole charade.
That's what's so fascinating about him.
Right.
Always a step ahead, even under the watchful eye of the KGB.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This constant internal struggle, this is key.
Right.
He's drawn to the ideals of the West, freedom, democracy,
Yeah.
yet bound by loyalty to his country and in many ways his family's,
Right, his legacy.
legacy.
And speaking of family, we can't overlook the role of Gordievsky's wife, Layla.
Right.
Macintyre doesn't shy away from, the complexities
Yeah.
of their relationship, especially, considering the double life he was leading.
Yeah.
Didn't she also work for the KGB?
She did.
Which just added another layer of tension
Oh, absolutely.
to the story.
Yeah.
Gordievsky loved his wife, but he couldn't confide in her.
Right.
Couldn't share the burden
Yeah.
of his secret life.
Wow.
Just imagine living with that kind of constant
Yeah.
fear and compartmentalization.
It's like something out of a John le Carré novel.
Yeah.
That ever-present threat of exposure, the weight of the secrets, the moral ambiguity of it all. It's easy to see why Gordievsky became like a master of deception.
And it's crucial to remember that Gordievsky wasn't, motivated by ideology alone.
Right.
He was deeply conflicted.
Yeah.
Torn between his principles
Yeah.
and loyalty to his country.
Right.
He saw the West as this beacon of hope.
Yeah.
A stark contrast to the oppressive regime
Yeah.
he served.
And this is where things take a turn, right?
Okay, yeah.
He's approached by someone claiming to be like a friend from his past.
Right.
Stanislaw Kaplan. Oh, wow.
Someone he knew from his university days
Okay.
in Moscow.
Right.
Kaplan tries to, reminisce about their shared past. But Gordievsky, he sees right through it.
Right.
He knows
Yeah.
instinctively that Kaplan is working for a Western intelligence agency.
It was a test.
A loyalty test.
Yeah. They were testing him.
Oh, wow.
It's like,
Yeah.
always watching.
Always watching, always testing.
Always testing.
It feels like this is where the story really kicks into high gear.
Yes.
Shifting from this slow burn
Right.
into a full-blown espionage thriller. It's clear Gordievsky is ready to take the plunge, but how does MI6, actually reel him in? What was the tipping point
Right.
that convinced him to become a double agent?
It wasn't like a single event.
Right.
More like a confluence of factors.
Okay.
Gordievsky's disillusionment with the Soviet system, it deepened during his time in Denmark. He was immersing himself in Western literature, philosophy,
Oh.
seeing firsthand that, that stark contrast between
Right.
the freedoms, enjoyed in the West
Yeah.
and the oppressive regime that he served.
I imagine MI6, they probably played on that idealism,
Oh, yeah.
like painting themselves as the defenders of,
Right.
freedom and democracy.
Absolutely. It's a compelling narrative, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
But more importantly, they offered him something that he craved, a chance to really make a difference,
Yeah.
to strike a blow against the very system
Oh, wow.
that he'd come to despise.
Right?
And remember, this was the peak of the Cold War.
Oh, yeah.
The threat of nuclear war
Right.
was a terrifying reality.
It was.
And in Gordievsky, he saw an opportunity to potentially,
yeah.
avert disaster.
He essentially became like a secret weapon in the fight against Soviet aggression. But what about the personal cost?
Yeah.
He had a wife,
Yeah.
children back in Moscow.
Right.
That had to weigh on him.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The ever-present threat of exposure, the knowledge that capture meant certain death.
Right.
Not just for him, but
It was his family.
his family. And the KGB was ruthless in their pursuit
Oh, yeah.
of traitors.
Macintyre paints such a vivid picture
Yeah.
of, just that psychological pressure.
Yeah.
The constant fear of slipping up,
Right.
of being found out.
Right.
It must have been excruciating to maintain that double life.
Yeah.
Every interaction,
Yeah.
every conversation,
Yeah.
laced with danger.
And that pressure only intensified when
Right.
Gordievsky was finally posted to London in 1982.
Okay.
Now operating in the heart of enemy territory,
Wow.
surrounded by MI5, MI6 officers.
Right.
His every move
Scrutinized.
scrutinized.
He was walking a tightrope
Totally.
with the KGB on one side, British intelligence on the other.
Yeah.
How did he even begin to pass information to MI6 without
Right.
raising suspicion?
They had a system.
Right.
MI6 had a meticulously crafted
Right.
system of communication in place.
Okay.
We're talking coded messages,
Right.
dead drops,
Right.
where information is left
Yeah.
at a prearranged location,
Okay.
brush contacts.
Right.
These are like brief, casual encounters,
All right.
but they're actually opportunities
Wow.
for exchanging information. They even had like a safe house in Bayswater
Wow.
where Gordievsky could meet his handlers.
It's like something out of a spy novel.
Oh,
All
yeah.
the tradecraft, the microfilms
Yeah.
hidden in cigarette packs, the coded messages
Right.
woven into these like innocent conversations.
It was far from glamorous, though.
Right.
The fear was constant. He lived every day knowing that even the smallest
Yeah.
mistake could have, devastating consequences.
And then there's the Michael Bettany incident.
Oh man.
This shocking betrayal from within MI5 itself.
Right.
What impact did that have on Gordievsky, knowing that his supposed allies, they weren't infallible?
Well, Bettany was a troubled individual, disillusioned with British society, drawn to communist ideology.
Wow.
He tried to expose Gordievsky to the KGB. I think driven by a combination of his beliefs and just a desire to strike at the establishment.
It's a stark reminder that even the most secure
Right.
intelligence agencies,
Yeah.
they're vulnerable.
Yeah.
That betrayal can come from the most unexpected places.
The Bettany incident, it really shook Gordievsky.
Yeah.
I mean, it forced him to be even more cautious.
Right.
Even more paranoid.
Yeah.
Because now the threat
Right. It could come from anywhere.
was coming from both sides.
Macintyre, he doesn't sugarcoat the toll it took,
No.
the isolation,
Yeah.
the fear,
Right.
that constant pressure
Yeah.
of living a lie.
It's a testament to his strength of character, really, that he was able to continue operating
Right.
under that kind of duress.
His contributions during this period, I mean, they were vital.
They were.
The intelligence he provided offered crucial insights into Soviet thinking,
Yeah.
especially during the Able Archer NATO exercise in '83.
Right.
The Soviets, they were convinced that this exercise, it was actually a cover
Right.
for a preemptive nuclear strike.
Yeah, they came dangerously close
Oh, wow.
to launching a retaliatory attack.
So Gordievsky's warnings relayed through MI6
Yes.
potentially averted like a nuclear disaster.
Yeah. It's hard to fathom the magnitude
That's huge.
of his role in that.
He was also instrumental in shaping Margaret Thatcher's
Yes.
approach to Mikhail Gorbachev, the new leader of the Soviet Union.
Right.
Gordievsky's understanding of Soviet politics, it gave Thatcher like an unprecedented advantage
Oh yeah.
in her dealings with Gorbachev,
Absolutely.
arguably, paving the way for improved
Yeah.
relations between East and West.
It's incredible how one man
I know.
operating from the shadows
Right.
could have such a profound
I know.
impact
It's amazing.
on world events.
Yeah.
But his time in London, it was running out. Suspicions within the KGB, they were growing.
Right.
He was recalled to Moscow in '85 under false pretenses.
Oh, no.
The trap was sprung.
And this is where, I mean, the book, it turns into a full-blown, like,
Oh yeah.
escape thriller.
Totally.
You're on the edge of your seat as Gordievsky. He's desperately trying to evade the KGB.
Right.
Signal to MI6 for help.
Yeah.
It's a gripping
Right.
sequence.
Yeah.
Gordievsky, drugged,
Mm-hmm.
interrogated by the KGB, he manages to outwit his captors and signal MI6 using this.
What kind of plan?
It involved a Safeway bag
Okay.
and a Mars bar.
Safeway bag and a Mars bar. It sounds so, I don't know, ordinary.
Yeah.
For something with
Right.
such high stakes.
It just goes to show, just the ingenuity
Yeah.
at play.
Wow.
MI6, they worked with Finnish intelligence, and
All right.
they orchestrated this daring extraction.
Bruh.
They even used like a baby
What?
and a soiled diaper
Oh,
to distract like a KGB sniffer dog at the border.
talk about thinking on your feet.
I know.
That whole operation was like,
Oh yeah.
a logistical feat. It
Yeah.
really speaks to the bravery
Oh yeah.
of everyone involved.
Gordievsky's escape, it was huge for MI6.
Right?
A blow to the KGB.
it marked a turning point
Yeah.
in the Cold War, you
Yeah.
know. It exposed vulnerabilities
Yeah.
and really escalated tensions.
But what about Gordievsky?
Yeah.
Did he ever, did he ever reunite with his family?
So he was granted asylum in Britain,
Okay.
given a new identity.
Right.
But the price was impossibly high. He never saw his wife
Oh.
or daughters again.
Oh my God.
The KGB, they sentenced him to death
Wow.
in absentia.
Wow.
A sentence that chillingly remains in effect
Oh wow.
to this day.
To risk everything, to be willing to sacrifice so much for your beliefs,
Yeah.
only to be, permanently separated from your family, branded a traitor by your own country.
It's a tragic reminder of the personal cost.
Yeah.
Of this shadow war.
His defection, it sent shockwaves right through the intelligence
Oh yeah.
community,
Absolutely.
and had a profound impact
Yeah.
on East-West relations.
Yeah, the information he provided
Right.
exposed Soviet espionage
Right.
networks.
Yeah.
Globally.
Yeah.
It led to expulsions of KGB agents.
Wow.
And a deep freeze, in relations.
Right.
Between the superpowers.
He became a legend.
Yeah.
A symbol of incredible courage.
Yeah.
And the ultimate betrayal.
Right.
A man who risked everything to change the course of history.
And his legacy is, it's undeniable.
Yeah.
His insights into Soviet thinking. They helped shape
Yeah.
Western policy during those final years
Right.
of the Cold War, arguably contributing to the eventual,
Right. The
dismantling of the Soviet Union.
And Macintyre, he gives us this incredibly
Yeah.
nuanced portrait of Gordievsky, a brilliant strategist, deeply conflicted, but with this deep love.
Right.
For his family, for literature,
Right.
for music.
Yeah.
He cherished the simple things, yet he was capable of such extraordinary
I know it's
bravery.
it makes you question
Yeah.
everything. What is loyalty?
Right.
What weight do secrets hold?
Yeah.
What sacrifices
Right.
were made at the height
Yeah.
of the Cold War?
Macintyre, he forces us to confront
He does.
the moral complexities,
Yeah.
the blurred lines between
Yeah.
patriotism
Right.
and treason.
The Spy and the Traitor
Yeah.
it's more than just a history book
Right.
or an espionage thriller. It's a deeply
It's a personal story.
personal story. His writing is captivating,
Oh yeah, it's
It's
incredible.
meticulously researched.
Yeah.
And he brings this complex story to life in a way that is both thrilling
Right.
and thought-provoking.
If you're even remotely interested in the Cold War,
Yeah.
espionage, or just a gripping true story about courage, conviction.
This book is a must read.
It really is.
It'll stay with you
Yeah.
long after you've turned that last page.
It certainly has for us. This deep dive has barely, we've barely scratched the surface
Right.
of The Spy and the Traitor.
It's rich.
Macintyre gives us so much to consider
He does.
about the world,
Right.
about ideology,
Yeah.
about the choices that we make and the sacrifices, that they demand.
Yeah.
If this conversation has piqued your interest, you can find The Spy and the Traitor wherever you get your books.